Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where 27 pieces of molten glass would probably burn through your backpack and your bank. I have 13,000 in my bank. I'm curious to know how hot that is on a daily basis. I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, we're a podcast that talks exclusively about old school RuneScape, but exclusively has a little asterisk because we do not speak exclusively about old school RuneScape. We tend to get off on tangents and talk about whatever we want. If you're not new around here, this intro might sound a little weird, and so might the whole episode, because Michael's not here. This is the first of several weeks. Michael is not going to be here, but you guys have been spared the solo Oxie Xpwaste experience. I have found a new duo partner to run the podcast with. Xpwasters, it is my honor to introduce Ferariic. Hello, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
Good. So, first time on the show, first time experience so far. What do you think? Just off the rip, and put you on blast. How's it been so far?
So far, I like it. Yeah, nice little community we've got here. I toured through your Discord a bit.
Cool.
Love the guys that are listening in chat right now, so it's fairly good.
Good. He's referring to the recording booth chat, who's going to be hopefully nice to him, but surely harassing me throughout the entirety of this episode. So, we found each other on Twitter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that went. I don't know how I ended up running across your account. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things you see like a train wreck and you just can't pull your eyes away. So it's one of one of those things, I guess.
I mean, you've got fire tweets. You won. I don't know who tweeted it out. Was it Mod Light said something about you got like some Twitter award or something?
Oh yeah, so that's a funny story. If you look at my profile on Twitter, you'll see. Let me actually just pull it up real quick. It says certified best tweeter 2022, and that's like super fake. So basically, you can go to a separate site that's connected to Twitter.
Yeah.
Put a newsletter on there and an image, and you can put whatever you want. So you could be like wanted by the FBI or whatever you feel like. And I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun with this.
Okay, perfect. So it's a totally legitimate award.
Yeah, totally legitimate award by an illegitimate company. So it's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have been saying that. I'm like, there's a 100% chance I ask him about that when we get rolling here. So before we get too much into kind of why I kind of brought you on the show, you, just a TLDR for the listeners, you develop Runelite plugins, correct?
Yeah. So just as a fun hobby, I made some plugin hub plugins. I don't make any core plugins because that's all with the Runelite devs. But I just make some community plugins for fun.
Cool. And I'm sure you guys at home have probably used one or more. They're probably there loaded in your side panel. But again, we'll talk about those in a second. But to kick things off, how's your week been, man? What have you been up to? IRL, RuneScape? What do you got?
Yeah, pretty good. So I just finished my last rotation, which was advanced general surgery. Because I'm a year 3 med student, so now I'm on my pediatric rotation, and first week pretty okay. I don't think I'm gonna do pediatrics. just based off the first week, not really much of a fan of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I released version 3. I sent to Runelite version 3 of Neverscape alone, which hopefully will be out within the coming weeks.
Okay.
Yesterday, I made a plugin called Hit Sounds. So whenever you have a hit splatting game, you'll hear a sound with it. Pretty self-explanatory. So like a max hit, you can load custom sounds in it too.
Oh no.
So like a max hit, you'll hear something. You could hear God knows what, but you'll hear it. You can use Runelite default sounds or in-game sounds as well.
Okay.
So that's sort of how my week has been.
Oh my god, that is going to be absolute chaos for streamers and YouTubers. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So what's the account look like? Main, Iron,
yeah,
PVMer,
so
Skiller?
I have a few throwaway accounts that I just don't use anymore, but I have a main account, same username and everything, Ferariic. And I mean it's okay. It's pretty good. I would say it's relatively good. Probably pull up some stats here. I think it's like 2,100 total or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I've pulled you up as well. 2133. All right.
2133.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't had time to max yet, but that's one of the future goals I'm gonna go for.
Nice.
One of these days.
It's okay. You have a higher total level than I do, so we're not judging. We're definitely not judging.
We'll try our best.
Yeah. So with medical school, right? I imagine it's kind of chaotic to.
It's fun. It's
get
chaotic.
a lot of time in to like really sit for 16 hours and play RuneScape. Right?
Yeah, that's one of the. So my progress has seriously dropped off since starting, but so about 3 years just been doing basically nothing in game, effectively. Sort of log in, do a thing or two, log off. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it goes sometimes. You peep over at his stats, though, folks. He does have quite a few 99s, so you can tell there's a lot of AFK time somewhere in there.
Oh yeah.
Right. But okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite boss, favorite activity? Okay, I got to bring it up before we talk about favorites. You said you were going to try to anti-scam someone when we first started. What?
Yeah. So when we were I was in FERRARIIC'S Enclave testing the Hit Sounds plugin, and I saw someone just drop a bunch of garbage, whatever, on one of the worlds, just like on the outside gates. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and try to hop to a different world, walk to that spot, hop back, and grab whatever I can with all my inventory out. I wouldn't say it's really anti-scamming in that case, but it's more like just picking up what's on the ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can be fun.
I was gonna say, you said anti-scam. I thought for a second someone was asking you to like be in a YouTube video with like a full Pharaoh set or something on.
You do get a couple of those.
Yeah,
you do get a couple of those guys, and usually, I mean, someone's probably gonna get scammed if I say this, but usually they'll let you take the first one, and then the second one they'll take your whole bank. So I wouldn't try it. Don't be careful. Usually, I mean, they've patched basically everything, so they know how people would try to get them, so I just don't try it. It's not worth it.
Do you know if those weird like animation stalls still happen? Like the fishing guild scam where you like read a book and you're accidentally in multi but your character shows in single or something like that?
I know that was a thing for a while. I don't really know, actually. You could do something like that with the Shrink Me Quick potion, and with it's like Venge and Shrink Me Quick, where you could take a sip of it. They patched the Shrink Me Quick one. And you could basically dash like super far and teleport like 5 blocks effectively.
Wow.
I know in Pest Control, I think it was Framed, he clicked on the western door. I think he had a buddy close it. But his character was pathing around to the north side. When they reopened the door, he teleported to the west. So there's some weird things with animation and all this other stuff. So I have no idea. Yeah. Don't know when that was though.
This is why I don't talk to anyone at the Grand Exchange, boys. This is why all these weird scams that are going around. This is why my public chat is just closed. Sometimes I keep it on the clan chat because I know none of you guys are trying to scam me. You know, we're good. I mean, that might be naive. Maybe somebody is, but nobody's succeeded yet. Knock on wood. But yeah. The update for the XP wasters, it's gonna come as a huge surprise. I know that you guys were thinking it was already gonna happen, but we still don't in fact have an Infernal Cape, unfortunately. Made it to wave 61 the other day, had a beautiful off tick setup, and then just decided to move for some reason. Decided to run to the other side of the pillars to get back to my north pillar. And ruined the off tick, and then got killed by a meleeer. Shitter alert. Still don't have the Infernal Cape. But yeah, otherwise we're skilling. We are currently ahead of TMD in total level. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but we're currently ahead. We got 2 levels up on him. So suck it TMD as of Sunday. But yeah. And I still don't have too many purples from TOA. Though in fairness, I've not done it too much, just because solo bad, dude. I'm sorry, solo TOA has been really hard. Like small teams good, but solos have been really difficult to push through. Not because they're hard, just because like what's the point, dog? 30 minutes and then you done a lot of TOA since it came out?
I just did like 1 or 2 as part of events with Neverscape alone. For Inferno, I had a good period where I was trying for my cape. I didn't get it yet, but I was trying for my cape. I got past triples, got to Zuck and died. That was like, I have no idea how many attempts in. It's probably in like the hundreds or something. I'm terrible at PVM, so we're like way in the deep side. The second time I tried, I got to triples and Zuck, I think. Then I just was like, I'm not doing this anymore for a while. So I'll probably come back to it later.
I feel
But
it.
yeah,
It's extremely demotivating to get like all the way there.
You're like, damn.
And still just die doing something
Yeah.
stupid. Like I died at Zuck God, like a month or so ago, maybe more. Because I missed a Jad flick of all things. Jad, one of mechanically the easiest bosses in the game. Just switch your prayer and attack the boss. I missed a Jad flick when he had like 10 HP left and died, and that was just devastating.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to take a few weeks off after that. That was bad.
Yeah, it feels like that. And then when like doing TOA, the final like phase 3, where it's like the chaos phase, I guess is what people call it, and the tiles are ripping up, and you've got like, like just fun. Terrible. Yeah, it's so much fun, but I'm just like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing here.
It's real shitty if you're like doing it in a solo with hardcore, and you die during that like P4 enrage phase, where everything's kicking off. It's like, well, guess I'll go do nothing because now I just lost 500k.
Yeah,
and 45 minutes of my time. Like, sweet. You know, so yeah, I feel it. It's frustrating. PVM hard, guys. Honestly, PVM hard. So
PVM is crazy.
Account progress is okay, but IRL progress is pretty good. That's okay. So in the recording booth chat, Michael has joined us. He's the real co-host. He's been trying to replace me for weeks, but he's failed. He's currently on vacation in Connecticut, so he'll be
congratulations!
He'll be
fun.
Probably just AFKing in his AirPods the whole time. But
sweet.
All right.
I saw Jerry wants a King Condor bop when he specs a boss. Yeah, I mean I don't have it on spec at the moment. There might be a plugin for it, but you can download that sound and just add it as a custom sound.
Okay.
For when
so yeah, I guess let's get into it. Let's start with this hit splat one, right? I guess more broadly, you create plugins for the plugin hub. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a open sort of group, right? And what you can do is you basically download the example template. If you know Java, that's kind of what you need for this. You create your plugin. It has to abide by all the Jagex rules, and then the Runelite developers will approve it or deny it. And once it's approved, it can go onto the plugin hub, which is like a local app store for Runelite. That's basically the process by which it works.
Okay.
So 3 plugins that I have currently are Bot Detector, Neverscape Alone, which is like a matchmaking plugin for RuneScape, and the newest one I made, which was yesterday, which was Hit Sounds.
Okay. So is Hit Sounds live right now or no?
No, so it still has to go through the approval process. It can take anywhere from like 3 days to 30 days.
Really?
So it takes a very long time, usually for these plugins to be approved.
So I imagine this has to do with some sort of like base knowledge of coding, yeah?
Yeah, so I mean they have to make sure that it abides by the game rules effectively. And if it doesn't, then it gets kicked out.
Okay.
But yeah, the language that is used is Java. And then the backend that I use for my servers is Python. And I'm looking into Rust, considering it because it's quite quick and pretty good that way.
Okay.
Sorry about that beep. It's my door. So
the backend for your servers, what do you mean by that?
Right. So with the Bot Detector plugin, the way that it works is that you have effectively 50,000 to 60,000 accounts that can look all around them and then send that information every 5 minutes to the central server. When they do that, we can parse through that data and say, yeah, these accounts match known bot accounts that have been banned, and then we can send that information over to Jagex, right? So basically the servers that we have, the backend, which is the server part, is coded in Python.
Okay.
Among some other languages, yeah.
Now, I gotta level with you. I don't know a goddamn thing about coding.
No, it's just instruction. Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. How different is Python than Java? Is there like a big conversion process that happens? Is it kind of like a pain in the ass if they get something wrong? All the accounts,
they're two separate languages. Python is it's like dynamically typed, I would call it. There's some ways you can make it sort of static, like pseudo-static with something called pydantic, but that's like too deep into it. But Python's interpreted is the main premise. Java is not really interpreted. So Python runs a lot slower than Java. And in general, Python is much easier to learn than Java. So they're two separate languages. Java is excellent for things like this, like games and stuff. But if you just want something to run quickly, make it work, Python's fine. Yeah, and Python has a huge community, so that's quite nice as well.
Yeah, I imagine it's a little bit easier to get tech support. We always joke about the spaghetti code and the limitations of Java because it's old in my understanding. Correct? It's just I don't know if maybe it's just RuneScript specifically that's old, but.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about what goes on behind the scenes for RuneScape. Java is a relatively old language, but I don't know if that would have a factor in the RuneScape's coding. So
okay, cool. It's all interesting to me because again, I tried to code. I had to code one thing in my whole life. I had a physics class. Oh, Dark just got his first fire cape. We'll shout that out later. Congratulations. No, but I had to code one thing my junior year of college. I was in a physics class that we just were doing like digital physics, if that makes sense. We were trying to create visualizations of concepts in physics, so like motion, all that sort of stuff. And we just had to get a ball to move from like the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen.
Right.
I have not had a harder time in a class in my entire life. It was like 15 lines of code max. And I was like slamming my head against a wall. Like I was asking people, I'm like, please, can someone just copy and paste this and send it over to me in a Word document or something? Because I have literally no idea what I'm doing. It did get like progressively more advanced, but whenever it got more advanced, we were just like in groups. So we had to create, again, another concept of like a ball shoots out and then goes in certain directions based on whatever. And that was for other people to do. I will write about it. I will do the math for it, but I'm not doing the coding. I can't do it. I can't do whatever system we used. I was just comically bad at trying to code. So very cool.
It's very tough when you first start. So it started actually 2 years ago. Is when I really first started. So about middle of year one of med school or end of year one of med school is when I really started. And it was just sort of like a hobby at that point. And, starting with Python can be a little difficult if you don't know anything about coding, but once you do pick it up, it's actually quite easy to understand. So if you're ever going to go back and try to use it for something, I would say start with Python. Okay. Because it's one of the more learner-friendly communities, and it all makes sense once you've sort of run through. And once you've figured out one language, you can basically learn any other language. All the concepts are effectively the same. There are different ideas, like just scripting versus object-oriented programming. It's like different methods of doing things, but in the end, the idea is the same, and you can figure it out.
Okay, cool. And then you said about 2 years ago you started coding or started working with JavaScript for Runelite plugins.
So 2 years ago is when I started coding, and we use Java for the plugin itself, for basically any of the front end parts where the client or the user would see them. That's all going to be in Java. So that's your bot detector plugin, the Neverscape alone, and hit sounds. Okay,
so I'm very excited for hit sounds. It sounds just super silly. Like I can't, especially if you can
show you a demo if you wish.
Absolutely, I would love that. I would love to see it.
Rev up my IntelliJ and we can get this going.
Let's do this. Let's see what this can do here, folks.
Sure. This was. It's like a fever dream plugin, I'll tell you that. This thing, I made in like a day. Yeah. It's literally a joke plugin. We've got this guy splashing. You can hear a little pop when he does his thing. But so you can also change that. So miss can be something like super strength, or whatever you want, piety.
Okay.
And you can change that to whatever you like. So there are some defaults I've put in here, like GE ad offer.
Oh, okay. So it happens not only when the little splashing bot or whatever is hitting the rat, but when the rat hits him, there's also a sound effect too. Okay.
Yeah. So whenever there's a hit splat, you'll hear it.
Oh my god. So it's just like this is everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can hear it pretty well. So you can hear these two guys fighting. Can be useful, I guess, in some ways. And you can also change it out to any other sound you like. So if I go to my Runelite folder and I'll grab a... So I just added the max sound to... And so you can do this live, effectively, right? And I think this is like the Herblore sound or something like that. I don't know. I ripped it off the wiki. So... If you want to go crazy with it, you can.
That's gotta be hysterical for like a claw spec or something if you max hit all 4 times.
Right.
Does it like play over itself over and over?
No,
and over
it'll
again?
play itself once. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have both those hit splats hitting the target, it'll just play it once over.
Okay.
And if a new one shows up, it'll override the other one. And like
and does that apply for something like a scythe where you can max hit on the second or third but not the first?
Yeah. So it'll play your normal sounds and your max hit sound.
Okay.
So it'll play a couple of those.
That's gonna be absolutely chaotic. And then that also works for other people's max hits as well, correct?
Right. Anything that you see on the screen or gets rendered in game will show up that way.
Yep. Okay. That is gonna be so much fun. Just for like, I feel like that's a really fun mess around with the boys plugin.
Yeah, and so you can just
gonna be super cool.
Grab some things and do it that way. Let me close this out, and if you want, we can talk about the other ones as well over here. I do have a couple of the plugins I'm working on, so let me close this out. Close out my RuneScape, and we're gonna load up Neverscape alone. Let me load up the server as well, the local server. So there is a live version of Neverscape alone, which does exist. But I'm going to show you the most recent version, so version 3.
Super cool.
And this version has a lot more features that the current version doesn't have. So we can go through them real quick if you want.
Give us a breakdown. What is Neverscape alone? I have it downloaded.
Right.
I've not used it because I'm awkward when it comes to talking to new people. So being like, oh yeah, let's do Tob together with strangers. It's like, so hopefully I get a chance to get that going, but I do have it downloaded on my little side panel here. So tell us a little bit about it. What is it? What inspired it?
So basically, ModLite made a tweet a while ago, and this is like not just ModLite, but this is the general idea that I've been seeing in game. I think most of us grew up with old school RuneScape, so we have the idea that we could go out and find a friend to play with, right, whenever we want. That's sort of gone to the wayside with just as we get older and whatnot. So because of that, I wanted to sort of bring that back together and say, hey, I would basically like to say maybe we can make a matchmaking system for old school RuneScape. So that people could just find a group whenever they want very quickly and hang out with them and make friends hopefully along the way and sort of bring back that social aspect to the game.
Okay. So on the plugin in its current iteration,
right,
you have every single raid, every single boss, all 23 skills, I believe.
Yep.
And then just a shitload of other things to do. Mini games. There's a PKing tab. There's combat achievements. There's money making. There's trouble brewing. I'd be curious to see how many people load that one up. I mean, people need the medium diaries for sure, but it is extremely thorough in what is in this right now.
Right. And let me share my full screen. This one you don't really need audio for, but I can switch back over to. I'm going to share my full screen just because I can't show you the side panel without that working out. So this is version 3. It's going to be a little hard to see, but you might be able to zoom in here. We've got the
full screen on myself here.
sounds good. So basically, let's start with the panel itself. You got a home button, which just takes you back to this screen over here. Your Discord, Twitter, GitHub, supporting buttons, RuneWatch, bug report button, and a basic plugin tutorial, which just takes you to the website. You've got a quick menu where you can quickly join a group, and you can select multiples of these and join your group that way.
Mm-hmm.
You can then switch that over to bosses. So you've got every boss in the game here as well. Raids, you can do every raid. TOA, entry-level TOB, Chambers of Xeric. And we've got mini-games. So every mini-game that's in the game currently, you can select as many of those as you wish as well.
Mm-hmm.
And miscellaneous activities, so combat achievements, if you need a buddy for those. Free-to-plays in miscellaneous. Money-making, PKing, Fowler Party Room clues, bank standing, stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's the quick menu. If you just say, hey, I want to just join a group, you can click Join Random Activity, and it'll throw you in a group with somebody else that's playing the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a public match. So let's try to create one. And there's also a search menu here as well. So make sure we're all connected to the server. Okay, good. No matches found because this is a developer instance, so there won't be any matches. We're going to go to Create here, and we'll create a match. So let's say we want to do entry-level TOA because we're new and we want someone to raid with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll click Entry Mode TOA. We've got our back menu in case we change our mind here. We'll select our group size as 8, which I think is the maximum for TOA.
Mm-hmm.
Experience, we'll put average. Split type, which is split. Accounts, we'll do normal accounts, region, the US. We have this Rune Guard feature, which I've added. And what Rune Guard is effectively, it allows extra moderation should someone be scammed during the match.
Okay.
Or should something happen during the match. You can turn it off, and when you turn it off, that means people can refuse to send some of their information over to the server, like their inventory items. But with Rune Guard on, it makes sure that everyone's on the level playing field and that we can monitor the match should there be an issue.
Okay.
Great. So we'll turn Rune Guard on for now, and we'll have the passcode as test, and notes will say, welcome to the TOA entry group. Something simple like that. We'll go ahead and hit create group. It'll create the group for us, and now we're in the group.
Okay.
So we have a couple things here. You're going to notice that it says the version is incorrect. Don't worry too much about that. It's just a developer thing that I've got going on here. You'll see the ID here. You can click it and send that to your friends. So the ID for this is Darok, that's Seer. So it uses RuneScape words to create the ID. You have your entry Tombs of a Masket here, which we can open
with that
and close.
ID, you said you copy it and send it to your friends in
and they can join you.
Discord or
where you can just copy it, send it to them, and they can join your group, basically through the search menu.
Okay.
Right.
Similar to the party plugin. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So my whole thing was just making the matchmaking system. But the party guys didn't want me to build off of their infrastructure just because they don't want the extra sort of headroom for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I'll just make my own that way. So we got your, a friends chat for the party leader. The match is private, average experience, general idea if you're a match.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got the player menu. So this is the player menu here, and let me go ahead and grab some gear. Otherwise, this won't make too much sense. And so you can see your teammates' location here. You can see them on the mini-map as well, and you can also see them on the world map.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So that's actually live, the world map part. So if I actually zoom out and go to full screen on the world map, you'll see wherever your buddies are, and so I could see that, hey, my guys.
I think I saw
here.
that tweet either this morning or yesterday. I don't know who you replied to.
Yeah. I think it was $1 or something like that.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm like, all right, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
You kind of always have to be in a party together, but that's super cool.
Yeah. And I'm actually working on making it so that you can make a permanent party or permanent group and just join immediately when you log in. So you and your GIM group can stick together without having to redo it every single time.
Okay.
So that might be fun. Yeah. Put that on. Yeah, I'm an inventory tag user because I'm blind. So don't mind me.
You were the chosen one.
Can't see a thing. That's why I wear glasses and use inventory tags. It's okay. Everyone's got to have a fatal flaw. So, all right. So we've got our inventory set up. We've got our gear on, good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you and your buddies will have your section in this panel here. All right. So let's go ahead and click the levels tab, and you can see all of your friends' levels.
Okay. Cool.
Right here. Pretty good. You can click the inventory tab to see their inventory, which can be useful. So if you're a teacher and you're teaching someone how to do Chambers of Xeric for the first time, you may say, hey, let me see your inventory, right? Send a screenshot over. Well, this one, you'll just have to click the inventory button and you'll see what they have, which can be good. And the gear tab, which it's a pretty basic menu right now. Java Swing is a pain to use. So I just threw everything in here and said, all right, here's the item. Enjoy, right?
Gets the job done, yeah.
I mean, it gets it done, yeah. And your prayer. So you can see what your friends are praying. And it'll show up here on the side. Okay. So there's a bit of a delay to it just because I didn't want the server to be completely destroyed in the process of having this whole thing work. And you've got your player stats, your health, everything else here.
Okay.
And what else do we have? Well, let's check the chat menu. So you can say, hello, how's it going? And you'll have a chat for your match group. Okay. And also show up in-game as well, right down here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to keep the panel open if you're just waiting for your buddies or someone to join. You can have them, say hello, and it'll show up there as well.
All right, and then do you need to type that in the panel, or is there like a /NSA, Neverscape alone thing? It will show up in your chat box like that.
For now, it's just in the panel, but okay. I will probably make it so you can do like a / command to figure that out as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, right now the plugin's just in alpha, so we're going to do our best with that.
Okay.
Make that work.
You said was this the one you sent over today, or was that custom hit splats that you sent over?
Custom hit splats, custom hit sounds I sent over today. Okay. This one I sent over 5 days ago, and it's still in the sort of review process. So that will take a while. This change was like 6K or so lines changed, I think, in total between that update and this update. And for context, the other group that I manage is the 117 HD group, right? So I'm the owner for that Discord, and that update was 12K. I don't contribute to that plugin's development because I don't know anything about what they're doing. I just help the community out there. But so don't ask me anything about that. But basically, they had 12K lines changed. So they have a massive 20K actually. They have a massive update on their end.
Wow.
This was it's pretty big.
Okay.
Also had a reconnect feature and a couple other things here. You could send your Discord over if you want to. Chat where you want the chat to be seen. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, pinging. So if you and your buddies are in a game or something, you can ping your tiles. You can also do an alert ping. So hey, take a look over there, right?
God,
with
no way.
Yeah, so if someone's doing something spooky off in the corner, you can use your button and basically ping them over there.
Okay.
Ping this area over here.
And how does that ping work?
So there's a hotkey you can select. So I picked control in this case, but you can pick it to whatever you like. You could change the alert delay, the max amount of pings you want on the floor. You can change your ping color as well. So what other people see will be the color that you've selected.
Okay, very cool.
So if you pick this nasty like orange, yellow color, right? Everyone else will see this same yellow color on the ground.
Everyone else who's in that party, correct?
Yes. Yeah, everyone else in the group, yeah. So you can pick pink, and I'll show this pink. And it fades away, and you can set the fade time and everything like that as well.
Okay.
The minimap settings, you have minimap overlay, you can toggle. Player name, you can toggle as well. Yeah, and that's on the map itself. You can also change the map to use bars instead of icons. So you can see player bars instead.
That's super cool, yeah.
So that can be helpful if you're more of a visual guy that way. You can change the color on the map to whatever you want. Red, why not? It'll change it to red. I just think I have it on this one for now. The ping alert sounds. There are also sounds for the pings and alert button. Okay. So if you want that audio notification as well, you'll hear it in game when you ping or when someone in your group pings a tile. And that's basically the config of that plugin.
Okay, well, yeah, so this really is meant to be like old school RuneScape. I don't know, like my first thought was matchmaking, and then it almost seems more like a custom games browser.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sort
of. Super cool. Okay.
And yeah, so you can see that I have this crown icon on my player as well. And that's basically just because I'm the leader of this group.
Is there a way to remove that as the leader?
Yeah, absolutely there is.
Beautiful.
You can just turn. Yeah, I know people don't like that. You can just turn it off. There you go. It's off. But I keep the settings on just so that people know, like, hey, that's cool, right?
Okay.
And they can always choose to turn it off later.
Okay.
So
what kind of activity have you seen with this? Because you said this is 3.0, right? 2.0 is already live out there in the wild. Like I said, I have it downloaded. There's a non-zero chance that you Xpwasters maybe have downloaded it. If you haven't downloaded Neverscape alone, you're probably a better chance you downloaded Bot Detector. But what kind of volume have you seen for, like, plug-in usage? Have you seen a lot of, like, I don't know if you can see like all the matchmaking games at one time or...
So interestingly enough, in our Discord, which I can pull up here, let me just go right over here to Neverscape Alone Discord, which you should be able to see this, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So we got a couple guys here just chilling out in general voice, but what I've done is that the plugin itself is integrated with the Discord. So your match will have a private group that shows up in the matches section, right?
Okay.
You have announcements here where we run pretty much daily events, a bunch of commands where you can be notified. Say, hey, I want to say add role, General Grador, and you can pick General Grador. And so it'll notify me whenever someone makes a match, right?
Okay.
For that activity. And for now, I'm just going to turn that off because I don't want to be pinged for it.
Seems like that would be kind of a disaster.
Yeah, and you can turn it off and on, right? Suggestions, plugin discussion, plugin bugs. People have questions about it, go for it. How to join a match in the Discord. And also, when you make a match in the plugin, it'll show up with a join Discord link that you can use to join directly to your group.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. Then we also have this here, which is a new matches section. And there's our match that we created 11 minutes ago. So you can see sort of all that. So you can see whenever someone makes a new match, it'll ping the people of that, subscribers of it, when the match was created, the leader of the group who made it, the notes section, and everything like that. And you can see the party size and everybody else that needs to know about it.
Michael, we got to get this kind of automation going for bingo, my guy. Holy, this is... The Discord end of this is also extremely impressive. Okay, so it's all one of the ads on screen right now is chat and relax. So you've truly integrated like social features into this,
yeah.
right?
There's bank stand. There's like 2 effective chat and relax. There's bank standing and then the basic chat and relax button.
Okay,
so they both exist, which is pretty good.
Super cool.
Yeah, and then you can always just join them. So you can go to away, minty lots. Go to your... I'm on the developer version right now, so I can't do it. But if I joined my current match, I could probably join them if they were live. Looks like Rocky Noobs Vegas live.
Okay, and that's the code. That's like the Derek that's here.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that'd be your match ID. Okay, but in terms of numbers, not too great. We have like 5K installs, active installs. Really, I haven't put too much into the marketing aspect of this plugin. So mostly I'm just working on developing it first, and when it's in a very good state, I'll probably work to make it a little more popular.
Okay. Because I know you do have a Twitter, you have a Discord.
Right, yeah.
On your Twitter, it actually says automated whenever something gets tweeted out. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
So if you make a Twitter developer account, I'm pretty sure then it unlocks in your settings the option to select yourself as automated. There's like some process that you have to do it that way. But you have to make your account to a Twitter developer account, and then you can do it, like add the automated feature.
Okay.
It's just like one of those funny little things like the certified best tweeter 2022. It's pretty much meaningless, but it's pretty cool to see. So.
I have seen that. I'm like, all right, there's no way he plans this shit in advance. Like, come on now. That was a tweet about the Queen. There's no way he planned that in advance. Holy shit.
Yeah, it gets it can be pretty fun to look at that way.
So we've got Neverscape alone. We've got custom hit sounds. Let's get the third head of the Hydra, bot detector.
Right,
one
bot detector.
I'm sure a good majority of the folks listening have interacted with
I've got
in some way.
Good stuff to show you. Let me close this out real quick because our Discord's
not to see it.
Yeah, our Discord's pretty much chill. It's just join in, have a good time. We have a sort of relatively clandestine group that goes out and finds scammers and bots or botters and stuff, and we report them over to the JMods. We have, pretty much, it's just sort of pretty basic though. We have events that we run, support system if you need it. Currently, we're working on doing some unsupervised analysis of our data, which I'm going to pull up right now. I actually ran these huge sets prior, so let me go ahead and do that real quick. Sort by date.
See this, folks. This right here is Xpwaste. Right?
Oh,
you're
actually gonna.
We're going through the data of the bots that are getting busted in our favorite game. This is Xpwaste at its finest, baby.
So I can walk you through my thought process going through these
for sure.
And let me find some terrible ones so that we can really just like iron out that thought process. Oh, that's horrible. All right, cool. Let's keep going. You got to go from the bad to the good. That's my mentality behind it. Are the people at Jagex who are approving these? Or are they being approved by people who are trusted by Jagex? It's all being approved by people who are trusted by Jagex. That was what Michael asked as a question. So I'm going to upload some pictures here. And this is some unsupervised analysis of the data that we have. And this is a small subset of the data. I think it's only 224K, so not too terrible. There's some other little bits and pieces which I'll share as well. It's crazy stuff. But
so what am I looking at?
Yeah, that's the question. I'm
going to put a couple of these pictures up on screen right now, so the YouTube folks have an understanding of the like what.
So this is pretty much some of the data that we have. So it's a small subset. We have 7 or 8 million names in the database at the moment. Let me go ahead and share my
8 million names in the database? Aren't there only ever like 75,000 people on at a time? What?
Right, but the plugin's been out for 2 years now.
Holy.
Or so. Honestly, don't even remember. Let me turn on hardware acceleration here. Relaunch. But yeah, the plugin's been out for about 2 years or so. So it's collected quite a bit of data. We have about a terabyte or so data. A terabyte of data, I would say.
Okay.
Which isn't too crazy considering what Jagex pulls in. So I mean, right. So effectively, we're gonna start with the bare basics of machine learning, right? And just like the bare basics. Effectively, when you have data, right? The columns, we're gonna call them features for now, just as a basic setup. Every column is a feature for what we're gonna talk about, and for each player in RuneScape, on the high scores alone, so every high score data input, so let's say all the skills, all the mini games, all the bosses, that's about 84 features. Without any feature engineering, just bare bones, that's what you have to work with, right? That's kind of what we work with usually. It's just high score data. We are implementing some other stuff, though, in the meantime. Okay, so you want a way to be able to visualize those 84, 82 dimensions down on 2 dimensions, right? The purpose of it is to group those clusters in a way where you can sort of get insight into them and say, hey, that group of players is clustering very well together. Why is that? And you want to go investigate that data and see why is that? Why is the case? So we're going to do a little tour of the bot detector, some tour of the database, nothing too crazy.
Okay.
And we'll have some fun with it. Okay. So this is the data that we had labeled a little bit prior. It's 224,000 players out of 7 million players. And it's our own personal labeled data that we've hand labeled. And then we've just simply plotted it with TS&E.
Okay.
So
when you say hand label, you mean like you look at the reports and you say like, all right, that's definitely a real player.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Or like we've seen them in game and we say that's a real player.
Okay.
That guy's talking to me. He's been my friend a whole life. He's not been banned ever that we can tell.
So
he's a good guy, right?
So when we right click investigate our friends and it comes up with like 98.6% real player, then like there's a small chance they're like a wood cutting bot. Like there's not a real actually, shot that they're going to get flagged for that, right?
Yeah, effectively what we're seeing with that is actually, I'll show you exactly what that is. So we're going to do a very fun thing here. These are all the real players.
Okay.
And they're fun and fun distinct groups. And we're going to go ahead and find ourselves some winter toad bots.
The worst boss in the game. The worst boss in the entire game. Mm-hmm.
So what do we see here? We see that there's distinct overlap between real players and winter toad bots.
Mm-hmm.
So we've marked. Why is that the case? Well, a lot of Iron Men, which we'd probably see if we investigated these accounts, match up very similarly to known banned accounts like winter toad bots.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you right-click an Iron Man, they might show up with a high percentage of winter toad bot.
Okay.
That's probably because another banned account matches very similarly to them. That doesn't mean that they're a bot. It just means that the data matches a little bit similar that way. There's overlap.
Okay.
So you sort of see that here. That's why this is a very tough label to work. And, bringing things down from 84, 82 dimensions down to 2 dimensions and retaining those neighborhood clusters and seeing all this all here, you can say, yeah, there's quite distinct overlap with the data that we have on hand. It's kind of like looking at a car coming towards you. It's very far away, so it doesn't look like it's getting any bigger, right? Versus looking at it from the side where you can see it clearly traveling across the plane.
Okay.
So you need another dimension to really determine that difference. So when you investigate and find that dimension, then these groups would split appropriately. That's what you're looking for. Okay. That's a general idea. And I can upload these. Yeah, go ahead.
With that kind of pairing with real player and something like Zulrah bot, that is
so let's go
wildly different, I feel like.
Yeah, let's find
than other accounts.
I mean, there is actually some overlap. They have in some distinct clusters here and some overlap here. And so what might you think? There are a couple things that could be. I'm going to ask you a question here. So a little fun reverse interviewing.
Okay, we love
why
it.
might you think that there are such distinct labels here? Our real players are here. What kind of accounts could be in between a real player and an account that does nothing but one activity all day?
Low-level accounts that have only learned how to do Zulrah. Like real players. Like we see it all the time in our Discord. Like real players who are like, I just got my first Zulrah kill. I just got my 2-kill trip. I just got my 3-kill trip. And then suddenly they're like, what's up, guys? I just hit 1,500. And we're like, dude,
it does nothing but Zulrah.
And that's the only thing on their high scores. We talk to them in voice chat all the time, but the only thing they've done is like, Zulrah or Nex or Vorkath because they unlocked it and they're like, oh, this makes a shitload of money. I love this. Right?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So, gold farmers in one case, or people that just play the game normally that have done nothing but Zulrah, right? And they match up very well in this weird margin. So what I would say is that I would say that roughly, if you were to investigate one of these accounts, they might be 50% real player, 50% Zulrah bot. In reality, they'd be a mix of a bunch of things, but there would probably be 50-50 if you were to divide between real player and Zulrah bot, right? Not a very good distinction. So what we do is we take a threshold of 90%, and we'll say, all right, we're going to take this cluster right here, this huge cut, and we're going to take this cut right here and send those off to the JMods, right? The most important part is finding that group where it works very well. So basically, all these purple things are real players, which is great. And what you can find is that these accounts, we have no idea what they are, but they belong to the same group. So their HDB scan label is 435. The user ID is marked when I hover over it, and the written label is unknown. So these groups are not known to anybody. Nobody knows what kind of accounts these are, but they're definitely bots because they've been banned. And they cluster well, which also makes them part of a farm. Again, we have another massive group here. I would say a relatively large group of accounts. I wouldn't say massive, but relatively large group of unknown accounts that we really don't know what they are. We've looked at the data. They cluster very well together. But again, we don't know what they are. So we'll have to investigate them later. And then you can see your average. These are a bunch of woodcutting bots according to the overlay. And yeah, that's pretty much the idea behind trying to find some data in it. And there's this loop of agility bots here as well.
Okay. Now, if it wasn't obvious when we first started, if you guys are on Spotify, right, or on Apple Music, head over to YouTube and watch that whole thing. Because,
watch the YouTube channel.
because trying to hear it without the visuals is difficult. Without a doubt. I mean, I think it's very interesting. I'm here for it, because I've been using this plugin for quite a long time. I think I first found it in like a Colanello video, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you did an interview with him or something like that. I want to say so, because the avatar with the Inquisitor and the skill cape hood looked pretty familiar. But yeah, I've been using this plugin for quite some time, and mainly I just report people out of spite.
Sure.
If I can't find an open world that fires, all you sons of bitches are getting bot detected. Every single one of you is getting the bot detector. You go to Zulrah, you see a very obvious Zulrah bot detector. Blast them, send them away, because just like what they're doing. And then, like I said earlier, occasionally it's fun to look up your friends or your other accounts. Like I have a group Iron Man account that I'm pretty sure, if I look myself up right now.
Yeah, and irons we're terrible with because we haven't adjusted the models, so it's been.
Yeah, I've got.
Situation.
Let's just say I just got 100% real player, so that's not as exciting. But yeah, okay. So there's still some margin for error. Like I just looked up one of our group members, Scape's group Iron Man account. He came up as 96% real player, but 4% unknown bot.
Yeah, and that's pretty acceptable amount, I would say. We really only care once they get to about 90% known bot of a bot type.
Okay.
And
of a single bot type, or like of.
Yeah. So if they're like 90% Zulrah bot, then I'm like, oh, kind of spooky, right? But that's sort of what we're looking for at that point, because you could see those clear clustering bits back here, right? Like, oh yeah, these are clearly PVM melee. They're super hard to see right now, but they're clearly PVM melee bots. These are also PVM melee bots of a different color. So you could, once they sort of fit into this group, we know that they should be banned, and we send them over.
Okay, cool.
Something small like this. I mean, these are real players. I don't care too much about them. They're just real. But if they really fit tightly like one of these, then they're going to get sent off.
Okay.
And we do that automatically. So there's no sort of preference of it. We basically just have that sent where it just sends it right from our system, right to the JMods. And they sort it out and they say, yeah, this is good or this is awful. And we figure it out from there.
Okay. So have you worked very closely with the anti-cheat team over at Jagex, I take it, to sort of, because this is like, if I'm working at Jagex and like I'm not working closely with you guys, this seems like a huge just like flood of information. Like, I don't know who these people are, but they just sent me 150,000 names of bots. Like, what am I supposed to? So I imagine you've communicated with them to some level, right?
Yeah, we pretty much have it. We have a Discord. We DM them pretty frequently, I would say, and just as you would sort of generally DM them, or you can talk to them in the upper channels that we have. Well, we can talk to them in the upper channels that we have.
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind for when I get my Infernal Cape, and if it gets flagged, I'll have to go in and start begging. They're like, no, there's videos of it.
It wasn't
like
me.
There's a year worth of content. It's not purchased. I promise.
Right.
But
yeah, usually we ask them a couple of questions that way, and they're pretty nice about it. Sometimes they can't answer it because it's private info, right? Other times they're good to answer it.
Okay,
so it's pretty much that.
Just like roughly speaking here, how many bots do you think that you and your team here have contributed to removing from old school RuneScape in the time that this has been open?
Let me go to my Discord quick. I'll share my screen. Actually, I could probably just send the screenshot. Let's do stats. We have a stats command in our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we send an account over and it gets banned, we count it. 895K. So I'll put that in recording booth chat. But that's a small fraction of what they get usually. Their numbers, they say they ban about 1 million to 3 million a month. So they ban a huge, they ban a huge amount. There are a lot of bots out there. There's a stupid amount of bots out there.
That is ridiculous.
They pull in just an insane amount of data. I don't think I can say how much, but they pull in an insane amount of data. So whatever we'd pull in like 2 years, they pull about in a day or so.
Good Lord.
So they've got everything. So whenever they say, oh, this guy's been banned for XYZ, most of the time, unless it's a manual thing, I would say most of the time it's probably true. Okay. And if you do some digging, it's pretty funny though when someone will go into one of the Discords and sort of say, hey, my account's been banned for, I wasn't on my account, and then our group will look in and be like, yeah, this guy's been asking people to train his account since 2013. So he's been on the naughty list for a while.
So I guess another question here. There's something of a conspiracy going around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know Michael's brought it up in the past. It's not a dig. It's just a small conspiracy that
go for it.
Jagex isn't going to remove bots from old school RuneScape because bots are a huge source of revenue for the company. Because even if they just buy bonds, right? Even if they just buy $7 worth of a bond,
mm-hmm.
you did $3 million in a month or something like that. That's a lot of money coming in. So what's it from what you've seen here? If it's something you can detect, what's the spread between the members world bots and the free to play bots? I imagine free to play has more. Right?
Yeah,
because free to play is far more accessible. But what's on average? How would you divide that up?
Let's see. Let me just check the database. It might just be easier that way. All right. So out of the nearly, what number is that? That's like 800K for confirmed bans. 500K of them were seen on members worlds, and 300K were seen on free to play worlds. Last seen.
That is insane. That is a lot of members world bots.
Yeah, there's a few.
I was hoping at least that it would be the other way around, but okay.
And it probably is. That's the reason it's sort of like up in the air. It's such a small amount here that I wouldn't say it's probably representative.
Okay.
And the reason is because, well, basically, a lot of bots get banned before they even leave Tutorial Island. A huge chunk get banned before, so they never get detected by our system. The ones that do survive Tutorial Island are either slept for a month or 2 months or whatever it is, a couple weeks, who knows, depends on the guy. And slept is they just do nothing effectively, or they might just do something simple.
Okay.
And that's sort of to ease up the detection on their end. And then they're released out or sold out to a bunch of people, so they'll sell like 100 for who knows what. And after that, then we can get them in our detection zone. So after they're off Tutorial Island, that's when we're sort of looking for it. It's very rare for someone to be spotted on Tutorial Island because when you usually download the plugin, you've been you're far away from that spot. So, so because of that,
XP wasters make new accounts, bring bot detector in, and just be sentinels for a week. Just report basically. Tutorial Island.
So a lot of accounts get banned super early on, so we'll never usually detect them, which is probably where that 1 to 3 million account metric comes from.
Okay.
And because of that, I would say probably, this is like a small subset of what we've got here.
Okay.
So, but of the accounts that we do have, most of them were banned on members worlds. I would say, just looking at it though, probably free to play is a bigger issue. but they get banned so frequently that it probably doesn't even register, and nobody plays on free-to-play worlds really. So
this is true.
Like,
this is true. Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well, very cool. This has been very interesting to look at. So this is the third of your kind of like big three plugins that you have or have been working on.
Yeah, and this is like my first plugin, and Neverscape alone. So we did it in reverse order.
I did notice that we went.
No, I mean we kind of built up to the best one, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, hit sounds number made it in a day as like a joke. It was fun, and just sent it.
It's gonna be an absolute shit show.
Yeah, and then we have Neverscape alone, which is the second one, which I'm super passionate about, having a great time with it. And then we have this one, and this one's pretty much, I would say, relatively done. There's still things we need to iron out. I think we would like to add like tick level data, which would be insane if we did that. But currently we don't have the funding or the infrastructure to pull that off. So it's kind of on the wayside at the moment.
At that point, just say goodbye to medical school and just apply to work at Jagex, dude.
Yeah. I mean, hey, for listening, you got US spots. Why not? But
mod Ferrariic, let's do this.
But yeah, I mean, we're just having fun with it mostly.
Yeah. And it's fun to use. I imagine you listeners at home, if you've used it, it's fun to be like, I knew it, you son of a bitch. Get off my world. Right click, report, yes, send, go. Because it's right click predict, right, for bots.
Right click.
I know. Predict, right click investigate is to make sure if they're on Rune Watch or not.
Right,
yeah,
and
got all sorts of plugins to like figure people out. Because again, I'm anxious and don't like strangers in RuneScape. So.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this. Let me close this out. That's basically what I wanted to show you here. But what on Neverscape alone, the matchmaking plugin, there is RuneWatch support and there's We Do Raids support. So if someone shows up on We Do Raids or RuneWatch, they'll show up in the plugin with a red sort of text under their name that says, "Yeah, this guy's known by these groups. Here's what they did. Here's what we think they did." Right, and you can follow up on the case if you need to. Just go to their website.
Okay.
So it has that added security measure to it. And also I forgot to mention in Neverscape alone as well, in addition to those other features, you can also promote someone to a party leader, kick them from your group. You can, I think, what else can you do? Mute their pings in the future. Like them and dislike them. So there's a rating system there as well.
More intuitive than the TOA lobby board.
Trying
you just have to like start a new party entirely if someone is the wrong party leader.
Right.
And then if someone else is the party leader, it's all their invocation. So if you run like a 150 or a 180, and then someone who is going for their like ward backpack, right, or their ward kit or whatever it's called, with the 425, you just load into an absolutely raid. All right. So yeah, it's. The plugins have a lot of very cool functionality, and they can all be found in the plugin hub, correct?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. So currently, the two released ones are Bot Detector, which is pretty much stable. Neverscape alone is going to get its update probably in the next couple weeks, I would say. And Hit Sounds, I don't know, probably 3 to 30 days, like we said. Hopefully, it's super small for a plugin. It's like 30 lines. It's nothing. So hopefully they'll go through it quickly.
I
but
cannot wait.
We're hoping for
the puffer fish. Like sound effect whenever it's like a max hit.
Yeah,
that's gonna be so much fun to play around with.
Great.
All right. Well, this has been super cool. Thank you so much. We get a little bit of insight into the Runelite plugins because like. Just do me a favor, Xpwasters. Scroll down on your plugin hub and just see how many of like hundreds of plugins you have, whether they're based for the game or whether you've downloaded them from the plugin hub. God, there are so many that I have downloaded from the plugin hub. I have not even realized that. Holy. Okay, well that's a lot of stuff downloaded. 117 has an update. I should hit that.
I just got that on here as well. So we gotta put out that announcement. Good timing too. I'm not going to put out the announcement.
You don't work with 117, right? I'm just more like the community manager for that.
So in a way, I kind of have I contact him effectively and sort of manage between him and the community. He's said that he would like and this is these are his wishes, that he would like the plugin to be open to everybody else, right? So that we can work on it now in his stead. So that's effectively what we're doing now. Is we've got a bunch of guys working on it. Everyone in the community that's marked as a plugin contributor in the Discord has worked on it or contributed something to it. And that's pretty much it. So that update just went through, and I think Mark is going to go ahead and write the announcement. I usually write the announcements, but I've been just so busy recently, so I'm not chance.
Understandable. Well, I guess 2 final things before we go. The first, if someone is trying to get into like plugin creation, because I'm sure a lot of you XP wasters have a hell of a lot more insight into doing any sort of scripting or plugin writing than I do, right? What is a good place to start? What is something you would tell someone with like some understanding of digital coding language who wants to create a plugin for Runelite? I guess what's your advice to them?
I'm just going to be honest with you, and this is pretty much it's pretty well known, I would say, unfortunately. But if you're going to make a plugin for Runelite, don't do it for Runelite, do it for yourself. Have fun with it. It's not the best atmosphere to work in.
Really?
I would say.
Okay.
You can just tour the development channel and have fun with it if you ever feel like it.
He brought Neverscape alone. He brought bot detector and just a little bit of tea. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're free to look at it. Go look through development channel. You'll have fun with it. But yeah. So enjoy. That's basically it.
Okay. Yeah. So make it for yourself because
make it for yourself. Don't expect anybody else to be too helpful or kind to you in that Discord. So do your best.
All right.
You need Java. So learn Java. If you're gonna learn something, learn Java.
You need Java, and you need some drive to do it. So
yeah, that's basically it. Do it for yourself.
Something you want to change that does not turn Runelite into a cheat client, by all means.
And make sure it abides by the rules. So if it doesn't abide by the rules, it's going to get denied, and you're going to be blacklisted. It's going to be a really sad little fiasco you've got.
All right. There, so. Have you done any TOA in the last week? How
I did one.
Hell did that TOA quality of life plugin get through? The one that just solves the Kefri puzzle for you? How is that not client? What?
I had that same sort of question, but effectively it kind of makes sense where they had one of the JMods say that they will only allow plugins after a month like that for TOA. And I was like, okay, makes sense. And we have plugins for barrows, so who cares at this point? But I personally feel like it's part of the skill of a raid to be able to do the puzzle, right? With your buddies. So it's kind of like a strange perspective, but it's also, I guess, I don't know. It's I don't know.
Obviously, it's not like playing the game for you. It doesn't automate anything. It's not like a tick counter. It just makes the boxes different highlighted colors.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, does affect overall time because we've shaved I think I was raiding with one of my good friends and one of our clan mates, Jesse, last night.
Right.
And he said, Oxie, I'm on client, so we're gonna go real fast. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he downloaded that TOA plugin.
Right.
And we made it through the matchy at the very end like that. We were 9 for 9. I just clicked and he went right over to the box he needed to. It did affect our time by about 30 odd seconds, which can make the difference if you're going for something fast. So I understand it's not truly, a blue light cheat client type shit, but
it's up there.
We just looked at it the other night.
It's very impressive. It's a very impressive. Kudos to the guy that made it. But yeah.
It walks the line a little bit.
It's a little bit on there, and I think if you're going for a speed run. Because people love doing their speed runs. I don't know. It might get a little dicey with some people saying, "Oh, you're using that plugin. Your speed run doesn't count," or something like that.
Yeah, but speaking of getting off on tangents, before I was going to ask you the last question, because now I have another question to ask. When when all the cheat clients went down, we slowly started to see this like influx of like, now there's a log out timer, which is never log. We have the Theater of Blood Quality of Life plugins, which like changes what Sodaseg's balls look like. That sounds super weird. I realize that the range and mage attacks, right? It changes what they look like. It shows percentage for crabs. Really, the only thing it doesn't have is a tick counter. How have you felt, as a player and as a plugin developer, that these things have kind of made their way into like the mainstream of old school RuneScape?
I mean, look, while the development zone for Runelite is not friendly to a new developer, that is a fact. I don't care. That's a fact, right? It's not friendly to a new developer. They do have a very strong. They're very good at rejecting plugins that break the rules. So if that plugin was ever going to break the rules, and they work well with Jagex as well, is what I recall, then they would never get on the plugin hub. So it's totally safe to use, and that's good enough for me, honestly, at that point. But if you're learning how to make a plugin, just be cautious, have fun with it.
Okay, because we've just found it funny that like they banned cheat clients, and then within 3 months we had Tob Helper, we had Entity Hider, or we had Death Animation Hider, we got the Party plugin, which was basically like how people used to, I don't think it was Parsec or whatever they used to use, where you could like show venges of other people and show their inventory. So yeah, it's fun that we got all this stuff, which like now we're basically the old cheat clients, just without tick counters, or like exactly, without the cheaty bits of it. Like the middle thing at bloat is still there. Oh
yeah.
As an example, right? But all right, cool. So yeah, all the things are safe to use. Anything in the plugin hub is approved by Jagex. You're not going to get banned for using it. I always have the caveat of like I don't think, because truly it's just like.
Yeah, you won't get banned for anything in
incomprehensible how many plugins are in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every single one, which is why it takes forever to get a plugin through, is very well checked.
Okay.
They're all checked very well. So, nothing to worry about. They're all totally safe. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all stable, but they are safe. Like, for example, I'm going to rattle myself here for a bit. The first version of bot detector I made, I was not at all versed at making a plugin. Not Java, not even Python. I was just awful at it. So when you turned it was terrible. So you would write it to a text file, then upload that text file to the server, is sort of how it worked, right? It was a fiasco. It was terrible. But whenever you turned off the plugin, it would crash your client. So thankfully we fixed that. But I mean, did it break the rules? No. Was it stable?
Did it break the game? Yes.
Yeah. So that was that was 2 years ago.
While where bot detector just wasn't working. Or like the right
click, for a month.
Predict. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
couldn't
meet the server.
I can tell you a quick story about that. So effectively, what happened was we were doing our normal database stuff. The API was running, and when it was running, we effectively optimized the database, and any DBAs here are going to be like, why'd you do that? But optimizing the database while it's running is probably not the best thing in the world. And so it corrupted our entire database, all like the whole terabyte of it. And for a month, we talked to like several DBAs, a lot of guys, trying to get it back and working, and we eventually got it recovered, except for the last day, I think it was. So pretty much fixed.
Good, yeah, because I have been able to, like I said, I've been able to spite predict people before. Any of you shitters try to take my Slayer worlds, you're getting looked up and you're getting sent off. I don't care if it says real player, you're getting sent off. But all right, I guess that brings us to the last question that we'd like to ask all of the guests here on the show. A bit cheesy, yes, but a fundamental part of our interview. So, Ferrariic, what is your favorite way to XP waste? whether it's in game or in real life. What's your favorite way to be just super inefficient?
Let me think. I have a couple good ones. I would say probably just gearing up, sitting at the GE, and just talking with whoever's out there. Just gearing up with whatever I have, just talking with some people, or going over to the white portal in FERRARIIC'S, previously Clan Wars, I guess, but FERRARIIC'S, and just watching people fight, sometimes fighting a bit. Just stuff like that. Just not really just chilling. Mostly
being social.
Being social.
The MMO back in the MMORPG.
Yeah,
okay.
Trying my best for that.
Cool. Well, that's a lot of fun. I, again, personally never do it because I'm awkward and also anxious about people trying to steal my account.
Right.
But good. I'm glad that's something that you still enjoy. I imagine you have like some go-to fashion scapes that you just hang out in.
Yeah,
there's always those little things that I'll flex with this. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there sometimes is where I'll just put on something and be like, yeah, cool, I'll put that on. Or I'll just go out there, wearing my normal PVM gear, I guess. Or I'll just, wear no armor and just hang out with people. Put on the snowman ring, I think is what it is.
Dude, I love those rings.
Yeah.
That was such a cool addition.
Yeah.
I'm excited for, oh my god, the Halloween event's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I wonder what we'll get this time.
Yeah, me too.
Should be good.
Well, with that, sir, do you have any final thoughts for this first half of the episode here?
No, not really.
All right.
Pretty
well,
good.
With that, XP Wasters, I have been Oxie, and our friend here has been Ferariic, and we are going to send you off to a break and I'm putting myself accountable for it. Before we go, it's October. Okay. We all know what that means. Oxie loses his goddamn mind for spooky shit. So, I'm putting it out there into the ether right now. Enjoy this new commercial, folks. We'll see you guys in a little bit. How you doing, you bastards? My name's Fortunato. I work out of Drain. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important safety announcement. Attention. This is a message from the Gillinor Protection Agency. On June 7th, 2018, while investigating mysterious reports in southern Mauritania, GPA agents received a comm orb from a messenger who claimed to have escaped from the Caridian Desert. The message from the comm orb played as follows. May Ictharlan's shroud hide you from her tyranny. May Elidnus' ward protect you from her treachery. May Temekin's light guide you home, safe from her sinister shadows. The tomb is open. The devourer is free. This message repeated until the device's destruction 5 days later. Curiously, Arceus House scholars, in cooperation with the Gillinor Protection Agency, discovered its magical signature was dated 4 years in the future. On August 24th, 2022, at an archaeological dig southeast of Sophenham, the pyramid being excavated was opened. GPA agents discovered 4 separate burial chambers, each housing their own quasi-deity class anomaly. A 5th sublevel has been discovered, but not explored. Reports of cognito-hazardous purple lights emitting from the 5th sublevel have yet to be confirmed, and adventurers especially are advised to avoid the area at all costs. All sentient races are advised to travel north, out of the Caridian Desert, and into the refugee camps south of Verrac. The Gillinor Protection Agency will inform you of any updates to the situation. Thank you for your cooperation. You will now be returned to your regularly scheduled broadcast. You're not gonna find any better wine anywhere else. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that brand spanking new spooky commercial because I know I sure did. If you guys aren't on board with the scary ones this year, tell me. we're still probably going to do them. But like, tell me so we know in the future to either change the direction or what have you. But yeah, this is normally the part of the show where we go into Patreon, community question, levels and achievements. We'll get to that in just a second. First things first, one thing we do want to shout out, actually this week, in lieu of shouting out our own Patreon other than our supporters, there is a fundraiser going on in the old school RuneScape content creator community, I guess you could call it, which I don't know if Michael and I are a part of. Technically, we create content for old school. That's not nearly that important. So this fundraiser has kind of been, I guess, created, spearheaded, whatever you call it, by a content creator named Hanani. If you follow her on Twitter, you may have seen some of the things that have been going on with her recently in the last couple of weeks. We're not going to get into it because it's not our business to really say on our show. However, a couple of our viewers have brought to our attention a fundraiser that she and some other content creators have kind of put up and people have been supporting and donating to for the last several weeks. This is run by, I believe it's called Rise Above the Disorder is the name, and the individual campaign is not dead yet. So the money you go for this, I believe every $30 supports a therapy session for an individual, which this might come as a surprise to you guys, right? I love me a little bit of therapy, you know? I know for the old timers are shocked, surely. If you're new around here, my real job is therapy. So I am, again, always in support of that. But yeah, in lieu of supporting or like plugging our own Patreon outside of shouting out the people who support us, there's going to be a link to this in the description down below. I believe at the moment there's like 9 or 10 content creators who have their own like individual campaigns that are like, I want to say competing, quote unquote, to see like who can raise the most money for this cause. Support any of them you like. Do it anonymously, do it with your name, whatever you got to do. The link will be in the description down below. If you can donate, awesome. I'm sure Hanani will appreciate it. We'd appreciate it. The entire community will appreciate it. And likely the people getting therapy from the donations will also appreciate it probably the most. You can tell this is unscripted because I'm kind of fumbling over myself, but we're rolling with it. So that link will be down in the description. Check that out on all platforms. The description is centralized everywhere. So just check that out and go give that a support. And now we're going to do a sick little spin transition, and you're going to see just me do the next 3 big sections. All right, ready, go. Hi there, Xpwasters. I had a much more interesting intro planned, but I accidentally hit start streaming instead of start recording. So I'd like to shout out Young Mac, Beat Babe, Pinheaded Larry, Moose Person, and Yum Cookies for joining the stream that lasted approximately 4 minutes, where I began to shout out patrons for Xpwaste. This segment is going to be a lot of things right now, so just bear with me. I originally said it wasn't Wednesday at 8 o'clock. It is. I'm tired, and it's showing. Shout out to you guys there again in my Twitch chat. But we're going to start the Wise Old Man tier over. You could tell the kind of day Oxie's having. So, kicking off the Patreon with the Wise Old Man tier, we have 10,000 Slugs, Scape Caution, Elagio, Bolimer, Basket, Benjamin R, Pork Jerry, Bradley B, Casper, Hadadbod, Cole, C. Gladney, Connor M, Morty, Creamed Ham, Dan W, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, D. Falconer, Flying Castiel, Fortimus, Francine 1225, Gecko, Gloves, Hajay, Who Farted, Isaac G, Jack M, Jake W, Jerry, Kevin B, Kios Bane, I think it's how you say that, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Meg Morpheus, Mima, Nasty MFer, Nick Bintorio? Bintorio, should be able to pronounce that, no problem. Nick Mynack, 999, Ninja Turtle Ruby, Obsidian Paladin, Okami Damashi, Pine Martin 709, Poorly Hung, Real Crazy, Reclinatus, Russa Fury, Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, aka Ice Swallow, Shadow, Skalaxin, Scoldveg, Solaire OS, the Chungaroo, the Rep Dog, THG Bang, Thormac, the Goodira, the Good Iron, That Good Iron. That's the name that is. It's hard to read sometimes. Troll, Tyler, Valdon, and Zach without a K. Absolute legends in the Wise Old Man tier. You guys are awesome. And as always, come hang out in the recording booth chat with us. So, we're going to head on over to the King Black Dragon tier. And if you're curious, yes, people have been DMing me the fact that I have streamed on Twitch. So, this is going to be fantastic, folks. Thank God we caught it a couple minutes in. So, rounding out our end of Patreon with the King Black Dragons of the Xpwaste Supporters Club. We're just going to call it patrons. We're not going to change the name. We have Bloodman, aka Young Kyle, my dad. Hi, Dad. You probably got a Twitch notification from me. Don't worry about it, Dad. Haha. Dicky Bird, GIM Stones, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, our third favorite supporter and thankfully well recovering Ralph, Rylithian, Seth Shep, Skooma92, Spartan Fire, The Big G Jordy, and Toast No Toast. KBD tier, Legends squared. Legends times two. Words are hard, and so are you guys. You guys are hard as hell for supporting us on the podcast. I'm not even going to edit that. I'm just going to leave that in. I apologize for the chaos of this section. You guys are fantastic. So as I said in the last part of the episode, we're not going to be shouting out our own Patreon. If you guys want to access it, you know where to find it. That's all I'm going to say. Now on to Michael's baby in Xpwaste and not mine. So this is going to be fun because Oxie never reads the community question, but he's going to today. So last week we asked, what is your favorite quest unlock? Whether it's an item, experience, or content, we wanted to know what you guys loved about unlocking things in quests. So, kicking things off on Spotify, we have Mockcat, who says, mine will probably be Priff when I do Song of the Elves. Giant's Foundry is one of 2 UIM smithing metas. Although Lunars is good, Humidify and Super Glass Make is thumbs up. Thumbs up. Maybe someday I'll do a bingo. Seems a bit hard for a UIM. I would imagine so. Though I also imagine everything is difficult for a UIM. So once again, Mockcat, shout out to you for playing an absolutely insane game mode. We have Kexia? Kexiza? Words are so hard. Kexiza, that's the name I'm choosing. Says, beneath Cursed Sands unlocking TOA. I've done 1 Cox and 2 Tobs in my time, and I have been having a blast sending 200 plus level invocation TOAs with clanmates and even solo. Here's hoping I have a solo purple soon. Here's hoping you have a solo purple soon too, because I've still yet to see one. I'm not salty about it. What do you mean? I'm not salty? You're salty. But yes, for real, I'm glad you're having fun in TOA and getting into PVM raid content, because that's kind of the first step down the path of becoming a degenerate PVMer. Glad you're liking it. Chris J says, unlocking Guardians of the Rift was huge for me, as I despise rune crafting. Underground Pass is also great for lower level mage training. Absolute facts for both, period. Again, I have not experienced rune crafting without a knowledge of a rune crafting meta. Like if Guardians of the Rift came out 2 or 3 years ago, maybe our understanding of rune crafting as a skill might be a little bit different. Maybe we might actually enjoy it. You know, maybe it'll be more akin to like a gathering skill we all love. But unfortunately, we still have this bad taste in our mouth. And it's probably going to take a while for it to go away for most of us. Mac B says, not mid-game content, but Song of the Elves for Zalcano and Sins of the Father for Sepulcher. It's good content, Michael. Get on it. Max said, Michael, get your ass to the Sepulcher. I love that, and that is also one of my favorite unlocks. Ironically, for making fun of Michael, but also unironically, as Zalcano and Sepulcher are 2 fantastic pieces of skilling content. Jacob M says, I'm so happy I unlocked the ability to runecraft. Technically, I think you can runecraft without doing rune mysteries. I think you can like make tiaras or something. I'm not entirely sure, but who is willing to runecraft before they do the free-to-play quests? Like, seriously, who is willing to do that? So it might as well be considered an unlock. I don't know. And finally, Caleb S says, definitely Dragon Scimitar from Monkey Madness. Opened up my entire mid-game grind and is my go-to weapon for everything. Second place would be the gate for the Prince Ali rescue. The government ain't taking my cash. Here, here, brother. The first one, I mean, it doesn't need an introduction. It's the Dragon Scimitar. It was a fucking mouse cursor for decades. It doesn't need an introduction. Like, it's a fantastic mid-game weapon. And I hated paying for the gate. It's one of my least favorite free-to-play quests, though, Prince Ali Rescue. I don't know why. Always has been. Just never enjoyed the quest. Moving on from Spotify over to YouTube for the community question, we asked the exact same thing, and we have quite a few responses. Wyvern GIM says, I would say Ivan's staff from Underground Pass is a big step up for magic damage at low level magic. It's even more huge for Iron Men. I have had to learn that the hard way playing my own GIM. Ivan's Blast was confusing, still kind of confusing, but it does slap before you get a Trident, so can't complain there. Tanner H says, as of right now, Barrow's Gloves. I bring those suckers everywhere. That's the first Barrow's Gloves answer we have, and frankly, Barrow's Gloves are cracked. They were best in slot for every style prior to 2019. And then, no, prior to 2016, I think, because that's when Tormented Bracelet came out. Ferocious Gloves was 2019, and then was Nex 22? Was Van Braces 22? I think Van Braces were 22 with Nex. So Barrow's Gloves held their own as best in slot for several decades. Fantastic unlock. Lethal Aussie follows that answer up with, best item is the obvious Barrow's Gloves, but I think the best content unlock is Priest in Peril. Unlocks all of Mauritania content and is a requirement for Desert Treasure. We've already spoken about Barrow's Gloves, but Aussie has a great point here. Priest in Peril unlocks a huge section of the game. From everything to like quests that train your defense and prayer at a low level, like Ghost Ahoy and Nature Spirit, all the way up to the single most difficult piece of group content in the entire game. That's also one of the most enjoyable as well. I'm not referring to Nightmare, of course. I'm referring to Tob. Mauritania has a lot of stuff, and it's fun as hell. Priest in Peril, good quest, good unlocks. Gangly Goat Games says, for nostalgia, Dragon Dagger with Lost City Quest reminds me of my DDS pure PKing days back in 2005. But for a daily GP grind, it's the disease-free patch and Troll Stronghold after my Arms Big Adventure. Which, if I did herb runs, I would sympathize with you, but I don't know how to do an herb run. But I'm hoping you're making a lot of money with it. Also, pure account, good. Jordy says, Monkey Madness 1 for the Dragon Scimitar, a godly weapon in general, especially for Iron Men and women. Iron women, I imagine, not just women, period. Though women could benefit from a Dragon Scimitar in game as well, just as much as men can. Speaking of getting off track, Jordy also says, RFD for Barrow's Gloves. Dragon Gloves look better, changed my mind. That's a hot button statement right there. And therefore, Cook's Assistant is super important. So, at the end of the day, Cook's Assistant is the end-all be-all quest. Jordy finishes it up by saying, there are too many, but those two would be my goal if I were to go back on my Iron Man. Good goals to have, great unlocks to get. And finally on YouTube, we have Brumbear, who says, Fairy Tail 2 has to be up there purely for the fairy ring teleports. I gotta agree, because you don't even have to do the quest. You can just sort of, like, exist and do the first, like, 2 steps. You don't even, there's no requirements to start it. Just go unlock fairy rings. Do it, like, right now. If you haven't done it already, do it now. Do it. Go. Fast. So, that wraps up the community question for this week on Spotify and YouTube. The community question for this week will be, if you could design any Runelite plugin, what would it be? What would it do? How would it function? And what's the inspiration behind it? Right? Michael and I were talking to Ferariic during the break of this episode, and Michael made a joke that if anyone gets a really good suggestion, Ferariic will make it into a real plugin, and he unknowingly agreed. So at Ferariic and ask him how his plugin's doing. Don't do that. I don't want to spam the man. He's new. I will have you spam someone later, but that's not important right now. Speaking of later, it's time for the final segment before we go back to your regularly scheduled, non-streamed Xpwaste content. That's right, folks. It is time for Achievement of the Week, which I have actually written out this time. So, hell yeah, we are out here thriving. People are posting clips from my Twitch in Discord. What a day we are having. So, in the miscellaneous category, we have a few things to kick us off. For their first quest capes, we have Fairy Kittens and Blastoise level 99. Pretty impressive. We do love a first quest cape. I don't know what their final quests were, but again, congratulations to both of you on a very big milestone. Following that, we have Travish, who's been posting a lot of photos of both his pets and his bikes recently. I appreciate both. He got his music cape this week, which for me, my final music track was The Curtain Closes from Theater of Blood, which you can get by just spectating, but I wanted to do it myself. So Travish, whatever your final music track was, I hope it was satisfying to finally get that cape unlocked. It's one of the best pieces of Fashionscape. Changed my mind. In the combat category, we, as always, have a couple of first fire capes. One of our favorite PVM achievements around here. We have Koch, we have Caper, and we have Dark. I'm saying Dark because it's Dark YXNG. I see your name every single day in clan chat. I have spoken to you in voice chat before, and I don't know how to say the latter half of your name. Is it Dark Yang? Dark Zhang? I'm not sure. So Koch, Caper, and Dark, congratulations on your first fire cape. No small achievement there. Continuing on with combat achievements, the MiG has finally beaten his bingo goal from like 3 bingos ago and has completed his first corrupted gauntlet. Also not a small achievement because Red Dog hit hard. Red Dog go burr. So congratulations, MiG, on your first KC there. And finally, we have Immortal, who achieved his Elidness Ward kit from the Tombs of a Masket. That makes the ward all red and looks super cool. I want it, but I need to complete a 300 first in order to get it. I've completed lots of 300s, just not by myself. So Immortal, congratulations. And to everyone who's done combat things, congratulations. We had a couple for combat and we had a couple for miscellaneous, and unsurprisingly, there's always one that's just like super beefy, and this week it's skilling. So we've got some absolute bussin' 99s this week. God, I need to eat dinner. I am so tired. I just said bussin' in my own show twice. Kicking things off, we have Bowminator with 99 HP. We have Trillin with his third 99, also being HP. You will notice a trend this week. TNL Corpseman pulled off 99 strength. I believe he said it was his first one in 20 years of working for it. Shadow with 99 Hunter, a little late on the before school goal, but he's still flying to max. Surely he'll have his max cape within a couple of months if he keeps up this pace. Good Fizzle with, as he put it, 99 Master Chef. He achieved 99 cooking. Synlapse had 99 magic. PP Hayes achieved 99 Hunter as well. Gambler achieved 99 mining at the Het puzzle room in TOA. Frankly, I think that's how we all should get 99 mining from here on out. Friendship with Volcanic Mine ended. TOA puzzle room is my new best friend. Corey S achieved 99 farming. Egg Rangoon achieved 99 hit points at Venenatus. Why is that cool as hell for me? Because 99 HP was also my first 99, and Venenatus is my favorite boss as of right now. We'll see how she fares after the rework. Beat Babe got 99 magic, Silverback got 99 strength, and Busco Beep got 99 farming. We also have some total level achievements this week as well. Evil on Olive got 2k total on their GIM, and Antix, Anti-Zan, and Tixon? We always have this debate every single week. I'm sorry, Antix. You achieved 2100 total level, and that is awesome. There is, however, one more achievement that we need to shout out, and this achievement comes with a caveat for you XP wasters. Folks, he's finally done it. After several months of running very fast, he has proven he is one of the fastest. Michael has finally achieved 99 agility. So, two things. Number one, give him the old GZ on 99 agility. And number two, sorry about that, Michael, at his ass and ask him how 99 Hunter's going. That's right, baby. 99 Hunter, that's next in the tube, surely. In any case, congratulations to you, Michael, and congratulations to everyone who did something awesome this week. If you do things awesome and want them to be shouted out, join our Discord, discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Come hang out and post your achievements or your awesome drops or your just comically bad drops. I love someone posted a back-to-back troll drop the other day. It was like back-to-back dragon spears, and that's just harsh. Well, in any case, come hang out with us in Discord, hang out with us in VC. Bingo is poppin'. We just released the channels today here on Definitely Not Wednesday night, and we look forward to that event as well. So if you're interested, come hang out, come sign up, and post all the awesome stuff that you do, and maybe you'll get shouted out on Achievement of the Week as well. I think that about does it for me in this section of the podcast, so I am going to do another swirl transition and send it back to me and Ferrariic for the fun question. So here we go. All right, and look at that. Oh my goodness, we're back. Look, that God, hats off to Oxie for those 3 sections right there. I'm so good at this, and you can hold your applause. I know, I'm fantastic. We're back because it is the arguably most important part of the latter half of the episode, and that is the fun question. Ferrariic, my good sir, have you brought a fun question for us like we told you to?
Let me think about that.
That's my favorite thing in the world. Asking people, asking guests. Right, so I told Ferrariic, just like I tell all the guests, like, we've got a fun question, don't worry about it. And then hitting him with, so what did you bring for us? And just the reaction of panic. I'm like, shit.
I wasn't listening.
No, it is totally okay. We've got a fun question for you.
Great, thank God.
This one comes from wise old man patron Mike Oxmall, which I finally found out is supposed to be Mike Oxmall. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I've been told it's totally average. Anyways, Mike Totally Average asks us, if pets were to become tradable, how much would they go for? Which would be the cheapest and which would be the most expensive? So, what do you think? How many are there? Like 51 pets right now?
Way too many.
If they were all to become tradable, which one do you think would be like the cheapest, most expensive? You know, just based on your, I imagine, pretty extensive game knowledge, you know?
Oh, I mean, might be asking the wrong guy for extensive game knowledge here. Let's think. But I mean, just off of basic supply and demand, what's the most common pet? Like heron pet?
Michael said the heron pet is elk price for sure.
It really would be. It'd be like 50K. I think we'd probably get like 50K out of it if we're stressing it.
But what if it's got the blue heron transmog, right?
Okay, 60K.
Spirit Flake.
60K.
God, what is with the hate for the heron pet in this chat? Honestly,
I wanted it for a while actually, but then I didn't get it when I got to 99, so I hated it ever since. So.
Okay, so it's a spite thing.
It's a spite thing. Yeah, 60K. Okay. I'll do it. Yeah. Okay, most expensive though. See, the only pet I have is the beaver pet, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I love that pet. So, I'm very sentimental about that pet. I got it on my way to 99 woodcutting. So, most expensive, probably not the TOA pet, just because of how. I don't know. I just don't feel like the raid would be that crazy, but maybe an infernal pet or something like that, like the Zuck pet or something. Probably what I'm guessing.
God, that's a weird concept to think about. That some of these things are now money makers.
Yeah.
If you get really lucky.
Yeah.
Like, just be really good at Inferno and just dump like 28 capes at a time to try to get the pet to sell it. Wow.
Newest pet from TOA is expensive right now, or Jad? Yeah, maybe Jad.
I would agree. Any like new pet, right?
Yeah,
is probably
new pets
really
definitely.
expensive.
It's one of those supply and demand things, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
First day pet would be insane.
Truly, dude, that'd probably be right up there with like first day shadows and things like that from TOA.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, let me get on the boss high score list here. I promise it's not despite TMD, but I think the Kraken pet would probably be a pretty low value pet.
Yeah, probably.
Just because I feel like once most people get 87 Slayer,
yeah,
surely you're gonna have to get there's tons of Kraken pets in the game.
You know what?
Though I think the absolute cheapest would be Chaos Elemental myself.
That one, yes, and then Chompy, maybe.
Oh, Chompy for sure.
Chompy pet existed. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's how bad it is. I don't think anyone would ever use that.
Or would it not be expensive because you have to have the Western Province Elite Diary to like...
Because you have to actually play the game. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Like equip it. You know, would it be kind of like middle-low?
Middle.
You know?
Like, yeah,
where it's like
middle-low.
It's in the cheaper end, but it's still like, you know, a couple $100K to buy. You know, it's not apparently ALC priced like the Heron pet.
200K. Yeah, 200K.
I'll pay 200K for
a
what's it called? I'd pay
pet.
200K for a Chompy pet.
I could see it.
Lord knows I paid way more in supplies to kill Zulrah the first time.
Oh yeah.
To get that diary done. So yes, I would absolutely pay 200 to just skip that entirely. But man, the most expensive, honestly, I'm gonna pull up the pets tab here. I feel like it's got to be the BA pet, right?
Osrs wiki. Take
Collections logged, other all pets. Let's see.
Pets. Drop rate.
Oh, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Are dust or the little items you get from TOA, like are pet secondaries now tradable too? Like if you get sanguine dust from hard mode, is that tradable, or does it make like your little Zik pet with the transmog worth like several million GP more, you know?
If you made it so it was like you put the dust on there and it can never be changed, right? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, like
it would probably multiply by like
Missouri.
20. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the new Missouri, right? Where it's like Missouri and then Missouri F, where it's like fortified, you know? Verzik T for the transmog. God, I feel like dust would be pretty expensive just because of the rarity and how long they take to get.
They should start selling pets.
I should start
a pet store.
I think that's called services, my guy. Oh, that would be cute as hell though if Probita could open up like a pet store, you know? You could buy like, okay, that's it, Jagex. Perfect. Mike Oxmall has created your newest content update. The people have been asking for it for years. Not tradable pets. Pets you buy from a store. We're finally getting dogs in old school RuneScape. But here we go, boys. They've created the models for them. Dogs are coming. It's confirmed. Probita's opening up her pet store. My name is Mod Oxie, and that's my project I'm going to work on.
It's like worst case scenario, you know, you had some bad luck at the duel arena. You got to sell old Chompy to pay off the debt.
That's the saddest thing in the world. You're like handing over your little abyssal orphan pet, and it's like, Father, no. You're like, I'm so sorry. Just like handing it over the counter. Oh my god, that's hard. Speaking of pets, I got 200 death runes shouting at me from the other room about something. But
yeah, my cat's outside right now. He's chilling.
My god. She would not know what to do with herself outside. I don't think she's ever... I put her in a harness one time to like go out on the porch.
Yeah.
And she just froze like this and then just like fell over. Like she became made of stone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, you're not an outdoor cat, clearly. Like,
for our cat, we release him out in just outside in the morning whenever we wake up or whenever he wakes us up. Like, damn, he always wakes us up. And then in the afternoon, like evening 10 or so, we'll bring him in, and he'll sleep on his bed inside. That way he's not being harassed by the raccoons or whatever. They're out there.
Cute.
Yeah. So he's an indoor-outdoor cat.
Nice. Yeah, my little lady would do very poorly outdoors. I don't think she would fare too well out in the great. She thinks she would. She barks at pit bulls. She stares really intently at pit bulls, I guess is a better way to word that, because she doesn't bark at all. If my cat barked, that would be a very strange thing. But the minute I have a dog like bark anywhere in my complex, she's right there at the window, like, I'm watching you.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a losing battle, dude. That's 100-pound dog. That's a losing battle for you, B. But
the agility though might, pay off, right? A little bit.
Yeah, the speed might have her. My cat's got at least 40 agility, surely, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think
that's a solid. It's a solid amount.
All right, what stats do your pets have? No, that's a fun question for another day. Yeah, but thank you. That's a nice, good question. Good question, Mike. Good answer. But here, one more thing. What pet would you buy?
I would buy, just because I've been going for it for a little while, not like crazy, snakeling pet for Zulrah.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's just like I want it.
Okay.
I want that pet. It's not. It's not terribly rare. I don't think it's like 1 in 4K. I don't know if that's super rare, but I mean Zulrah's pretty chill. So yeah, I think it's a cool.
pet. You got about 1,300-ish KC. You're on your way.
Go for the snake.
I have less KC than that, so I'm not saying in a judgy place, but like, might be able to pay for it. I kind of want to buy the Chin pet, just because Chins bore the shit out of me. I gotta be honest. Like,
right.
The other ones are fun RNG, but like, man. All right, would a golden Chin be more expensive? We're getting way too off the rails here. I would buy a golden Chin, or I would buy the egg, because I can't do Fazani's Nightmare, so I could transmog my Nightmare pet.
I would buy golden Chin. I think that'd be insane.
God, that'd be a huge flex too. It was like only a couple hundred in the game, I think, or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
That answer bores me, Oxie. The Chinchompa, really? Out of every pet? Yes, Michael, out of every pet. Because I like pet hunting, and I can do the content, except for Fazani's Nightmare. So, all right. I think that about wraps up the fun question. Thank you for participating. I know it's always kind of like weird and off the rails when it's like, question. Formal podcast interview, data set reviews, buyable pets. But it's good fun. It's good fun.
Right. Love it.
So, XP Wasters, this is it. This is the big end, the grand finale. There's fireworks and shit going off in the background. You have survived this episode. Congratulations. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. I don't even know. Every link you will ever need for XP Waste, anything, will be in the description down below. Social media, Patreon, YouTube version, all of Michael and I's normal socials will be in there as well. And then, again, importantly, check out the Not Dead Yet fundraiser. Go give that a look. Go toss that a donation if you can. And finally, Mr. Ferrariic, where can we find you?
Twitter.
Twitter?
Or you could poke me on Discord. You can add me on Discord.
Okay.
Same as my name. The hashtag sign 0001.
Okay.
Feel free to add me there. You'll find me around, I guess. There's a lot of places to find me.
Awesome. Would you like us to post any Discord links of yours? Neverscape alone in there?
Yeah, let's
do
it.
In addition to linking his Twitter, we will also have some Discords of his there as well, so you can keep up to date on announcements and any other fun goings-on that may be happening. Again, with the hit splat sounds, you might get some updates on that. Who knows, from Twitter, Discord, what have you. But a lot of exciting stuff. I have to ask in the episode, because I saw it on Twitter. YouTube series, question mark?
Oh, yeah. So, funny story. Like 2 years ago, before I started med school, 3 years ago before I started med school, I was like getting into YouTube, right? I've made previous videos before. I have a Minecraft video with like 4.5 million views. It was Zombie Magnet back in like 2013 or something like that.
Okay.
Just like a silly little video. Yeah, so then more recently for the RuneScape, I was going to make like a Machinima-like series called Descendants. And the idea was that you'd have this guy who's returning back home. He's like a king or whatever, and he goes on this long lost journey. But I kind of like stopped after the first episode just because I got so busy with real life stuff. Second episode is technically written, but I don't think we're gonna make it. And then I also had another series which I was making super short called Helmscape. And it was going to be collect every helmet slot item in RuneScape.
Okay.
So that was something else. I put out the first episode, and again, same thing happened. Just got busy.
Well, just for laughs, we'll link the YouTube as well. Sure. And maybe Descendant will kick off enough that you'll want to just actually get that second episode going. So
yeah,
every link for Ferrariic you will ever need will also be in the description down below, as well as this week's news post, as always, which we, again, didn't talk about. They're adding things to the clan hall, I think. That's going to be hype as shit. But again, we'll get to it eventually, I'm sure. Got any final thoughts for us, my friend?
Nope. Any last questions for me?
Nope. Thank you so much for coming out and sticking around for, a couple hours here, working with us on the show. This has been a hell of a lot of fun. Very insightful. Admittedly, a bit confusing sometimes with the data.
Yeah.
But as a little bit of a science nerd, I'm here for it. Again, XP Wasters, I encourage you to go back and watch some of the stuff on YouTube so you have some of the visuals. But overall, super cool. Thank you for helping make the plugins that help bring the community together, whether it's for a good thing, like scaping together, or for a spiteful thing, like getting those f***ing bots out of Darkmire that keep filling. I will never not be salty about the... Whatever. Okay. Thank you so much for coming out on the show. And with that, folks, we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much. See you.